That's how they talk. And it wasn't even just into the 90s.
Yeah.
No, it was well into the like
early 2000s.
Yeah.
No, like the late or the early 2010s, really, before people were like, okay, let's
Before they really
move on.
I wouldn't know because I was an adult by then, but in the mid 2000s for sure.
I would say like 2011 maybe was when people started to reel back a little bit on all that.
Oh yeah.
I mean, when I was in 8th grade, I'd still say it.
Yeah.
Say what?
I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna get canceled over this.
Oh.
I don't think you can say that, dude.
I don't think you can say that.
We got Airwalk Art. We got
There we go.
Hey,
Dark Slide Danny. And, well, this is easy. Kickflip Chris.
No,
Ooh, nice.
Here we
no,
are.
we'll call him Red Eye Chris.
Yeah.
Don't bring that up.
He looks like death right now.
Yeah, he looks like.
I
He looks.
Like our skateboarding protagonist. It looks like he's been partaking.
Yeah.
No. I have bilateral conjunctivitis.
Jesus.
Oh, man.
Chris is just like,
I
hey, if
feel
a doctor
great.
gave it to you, how could it be bad for you?
How
Hey,
could it be
that's a great line.
That was a
that
gem.
is a really good. Man.
Oh, man. So we watched mid-90s Jonah Hill's directorial debut.
What a debut!
It
I will
was,
say so.
it was a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
I liked it. It was hard for me to get into, though.
Really?
Really?
I was into
Yeah.
it from the start, pretty much.
And it's actually a testament to the acting and the direction, but nobody in this movie's really likable
Oh, see, I
except for
felt the
one
opposite.
guy,
Yeah.
I felt
like Ray.
I felt the opposite.
Like everyone else is kind of Ruben is, from the moment you meet him,
Yeah.
the other little kid who becomes what's the main character's name before
Stevie.
he becomes
Stevie.
Sunburn? Stevie. Before the main character, he's this kid of a single mother. He's got a bully of a brother who really fucking wails on him. I believe they just moved to this new area, and things aren't going great for him. His mom doesn't seem to be there a lot, and he makes friends with these kids, and the first one he meets is this kid Ruben.
yeah.
He's an asshole, but it's like you see a little bit of his foolish innocence, and so you can, I guess another thing that makes me uncomfortable, it reminds me of my own youth and foolishness, and so I mean, this movie for me, there's a lot that rang true.
That's kind of what I expected,
Yeah.
and that's after watching it, I was like, I'm really curious to see what Art has to say about this movie.
Yeah, like my friends and me, like we were those type of kids, like driving around, like when we're like 14, and my friend, he was 15, he had his mom's minivan, and we were huffing gas in the back of it, and it's like, but it's like, when I think of my group of friends who were skateboarders and everything, there was no one as mean as that Ruben kid.
Yeah.
I mean, like there was a characteristic though of kind of standoff jerkishness. I think, and I've seen a lot of like female comedians comment on this who are like in their 30s, and they talk about like they all like apparently slept with skaters when they were teens.
Skaters are cool, man.
Yeah.
They were really
Yeah.
they
I
are
did
cool,
it.
but what's the time
The era?
not the era, the lifespan.
Oh.
There's an expiration date
Yeah.
Oh,
on
absolutely.
that lifestyle and that type of person, because when you're a kid, coolness is defined as, beginning from the 1950s, is the lack of care, right? So skate kids across the country are kind of defined as, best characterized popularly now by the energy of Odd Future,
Yeah.
like
okay.
kids yelling stuff, knocking over trash cans,
That was always kind of what it was, though.
Yeah,
I mean, like, one of my favorite parts of like Jackass or Viva La Bam is just the wanton disregard for anybody but like putting something on film
Yeah.
right.
and putting music over it.
Yeah.
And that's what I found really great about this movie was like it felt to me like they were making a skate video the whole time, almost just being stupid and partying a lot, and I don't know, just being really rude children.
Yeah.
And there's a really frenetic pace, and like it really underscores like the I guess like the volatility of like being that age,
That
how much
youth.
fun it could be, but also like there's this underlying tragedy the whole time because these kids are
Yeah.
They're
something going on
putting
with
themselves
each and every one of them.
danger,
Mhm.
Yeah.
like completely, and you know it's made very stark by the fact that the main character looks extremely young.
Yes.
Mhm.
You know,
He's supposed to be 13.
right. And I was a 7th grade teacher, and like you definitely had the kids who like, you know, you could tell they weren't going to hit their growth spurt early. You know,
Mhm.
or on time. I mean, Danny, you can speak to that.
I can. Dude, I didn't hit it till I was like in 11th grade. Like between 10th and 11th grade. I was a small kid.
I used to call him Baby Bones Dan
Yeah.
when I first met him. I met you right before your growth spurt.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Man.
My
but-
growth spurt was like in 6th grade. Like seriously,
Man.
I was over 6 feet by 7th grade.
Good lord, dude. In 6th grade, I hadn't broken 5 feet. Like, for real.
Yeah.
Like, I was small, man. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I was a little bit chubby and small, and then like suddenly in 10th grade, I was lanky.
Yeah.
And, like the size I am now.
Yeah, you were a string bean when I met you.
Yeah.
And now you're large and in charge.
Oh yeah. They call me Big
Not
Bone Daddy.
quite as big as the Hawaiian guy in the subway, but
Well,
we'll
leave that up to
we'll
the
get there someday.
we'll leave that up to the viewer to imagine.
Oh, we should do a video cast.
No.
All will be revealed.
No,
What if we did a video cast and we all looked like that guy?
no.
How shocking.
all just really big dude, bald Samoan dude.
Sometimes I wish I was a bald Samoan
Yeah, right.
when I'm on the metro, so people don't like try to.
You could get a
like,
gig
my
in the
lunchbox.
NFL.
What about like a
the
skateboard?
AAF.
What about like a skateboarding
I
bald
was
Samoan
watching
dude?
some of that this weekend at
It's
Hooters.
terrible.
It's terrible.
It's really
Complete-
it's really poor quality football.
Like the defensive lineman, there was such a huge disparity between him and the center I was watching play, and so at first I was like, oh shit, that the offensive guy, the center, he must be only like 5'10", and then I saw that the defensive lineman was only 6'1", and he dwarfed. I was like, oh shit, he's like 5'8".
Reese Jones-Drew's playing like tackle.
But yeah, so like with this movie, big pluses for me was I like the acting.
Yeah, you know what's interesting before we move on is all the kids except for Stevie are not actors, not professional actors.
Oh wow.
Like they're skate kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't have any acting credits, I don't think, outside of this.
Ray, he's the nice guy, the older nice
yeah,
guy, right?
That dude's an actual skater.
Yeah, that's what
Oh,
I read
cool.
too. That
He was good. Like from
Yeah.
the stuff that he was doing in the movie.
Well, he's the best part of the movie, I think,
Yeah.
yeah, he is. He's to me the only likable
character-wise.
Yeah.
only likable character.
I-
I like the older girl who was neighborly to the protagonist though.
Yeah, neighbor.
I don't know. I don't think I like that part. so
I don't
much.
think I like it either. That part made me tremendously uncomfortable.
Did it make you uncomfortable?
It was supposed to, yeah.
Because it's little kids, like minors,
It-
participating in the
I
act.
think it's really that kid looks so young.
Yeah, I think
that girl could be like 15.
I was about to say I think it was the age disparity between the two.
I know, because I was thinking about how they were going to handle that
Mm-hmm.
when I saw what was going on in the party. And I
Yeah.
was thinking, well, if I did it just to like avoid the awkwardness of like directing the kids and everything,
Mm-hmm.
I would just like cut and then have him come out the room like, hey, hey,
Yeah,
hey.
yeah, it would be something like that scene, the shot of her leading her into the bedroom. They close the door and then it cuts to the next scene.
Mhm.
I think that would be the way that I would have handled it. But
I
but-
read.
And I don't think
I read an
I'll say,
interview,
I don't think he
actually.
did anything wrong.
no,
I think it was
but
handled
that's
fine.
the thing. I think the way that he handled it was fine because it was for my own end. It was really uncomfortable, and I was kind of in Stevie's shoes with how uncomfortable he was and nervous. And,
Yeah.
like I don't know. It
But yeah, like I did not think about it. But when it
Yeah.
was happening, I didn't feel any type of way.
No.
I was just like, I thought about like the logistical like nightmare it might be being a director asking
and then asking
asking
yeah.
kids to get hot and heavy on
Yeah.
camera. But She was nice too. Her and Ray. Everyone else,
Yeah.
real fucking nice. Poor. Well, the mom's okay.
You know what the scariest part of this movie was?
When
She was going into the skate shop.
Yeah, dude.
That was the scariest part.
Yeah.
It wasn't the ending
yeah.
where they get in the car with the
Yeah.
drunk kid. No, it was that part.
There was.
Oh yeah.
I think like one part that I thought would have been the scariest that I don't think the movie capitalized enough on was when he tells his mom that he had nothing to do with the $80 that was missing.
Oh,
I thought that was going to be a much bigger deal than
I thought
it was.
that guy was gonna explode.
Me too. Like,
I mean, he did come in his room at night and beat him up.
but
Yeah.
like he had beat him up. That's the first shot in the movie. He's getting beat up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I do like the intro to the movie.
oh, it's
yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just the thud of him,
yeah.
and it's like super loud, and
Yeah.
like you kind of had like a quiet like bass line established.
What do
for
you
a few
think about
seconds,
that
and
older brother? Like, considering all the things he's into, he should have been a cool guy, right?
No, he was as a character. He was my favorite character.
The older brother?
Because
Why?
I think he was pretty complex and multifaceted.
I mean, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
you could tell, like,
Is-
especially at the end when, or near the end when Stevie says to him, like, you have no friends, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
you'll never do anything. Like, you can tell when he sits down and starts screaming, like, there's,
It's not just.
it's deeper
yeah,
than just, like, he's an
yeah.
asshole.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like,
Well, he's.
I mean, I get the feeling that Stevie is doing exactly what he did never do, and that is find a group.
yeah,
yeah.
and I'm sure there's a bit of jealousy from the older brother's end
Exactly.
for that.
And it's really actually kind of sad because he's
Right.
18.
And,
Yeah.
And
and,
that
the,
kid's 12 or 13.
yeah,
and the older brother is also. I think the explanation for it is because he is kind of traumatized by the stuff he went through with his mother
yeah,
when he was young.
yeah.
And
Because he
Dad-
does explain something along the, like a really candid part where he's like, you know, our mother wasn't so great.
She wasn't
when
like that
I was
when
your
we
age.
were-
Yeah. And so I think that made him scarred and withdrawn and affected his ability to make friends.
And especially, and I mean, there's especially that part when he gets in that confrontation with fuck shit. You know what I mean? It's just like, not only do you not have friends, but also your little brother's friends are bullying you too now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is actually pretty sad. Like,
It
that
is.
part where Stevie does yell at him, it's like, yeah, that's what you get. But then when he sits down and, like, covers his
Yeah.
head with
Starts
his shirt,
crying
that's actually
and yelling. Yeah.
really
That's
sad.
yeah. Well, the thing that sticks out about this movie to me, and it's the first word I wrote in my notes, is self-validation. Right. The movie, especially with Stevie, goes from him searching for self-validation from his older brother, and then immediately realizing he's not going to get that.
Not from
and
that
then,
guy.
You're right.
And then when he goes to the other kids, you know, it's like boom, 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 and quickly rises to the top. And especially with the way that he skips over people. So, you know, when he doesn't get validation from his brother, he moves on to the friends. He moves on to, what's the kid's name?
Ruben?
Ruben. He moves on to Ruben. When he doesn't get it from Ruben, he gets it from, you know, he gets it from Ray, and he gets
And
it from...
it flips onto Ruben too. 'cause
Yes.
He, when Stevie starts to gain popularity within the group, Ruben is like on the outside looking
Right.
in, and
Yeah.
he becomes
His,
tremendously.
his Brutus.
Yeah. So, I like, there's just some stuff in this movie that's just like the way that I feel for Ruben, and I feel for the older brother in ways, because, and not even just from what's happening there, but like, it's relatable too, because like, even though I didn't grow up in extreme poverty in the way that Ruben did, I know kids like that, you know, like kids who
I did too.
kids who didn't
Like you
want-
drop him off and he
he-
leaves immediately.
yeah, they didn't want to go home, or
Yeah.
they like. My mom, when I can think about stuff, when I'd hang out with some friends and we dropped them off, like my mom would always make sure that the kid went inside.
Yeah.
But I knew that like they probably didn't want to.
Is that
you
even
know?
any better?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
so.
No, that makes me remember a lot of stuff. And it's like, one thing though, you know, going back to myself, it's like I never got good at skating because I had pretty stable parents and a good home life. And so like my parents naturally at, you know, the ages where you want to get as much time in when you're picking up a hobby like that as possible, like I just wasn't able to. Like I
Yeah.
lived a little bit in the country,
Yeah.
so I would have to ride my bike an hour into the city to go to the bay where where all the concrete and everything was.
Yeah.
But I had friends, and you know, they were all there regularly, and like they were like, you know, what the news has now deemed like free range kids.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, and then, you know, I had friends who like since they were 14 had like no curfew,
Yeah.
and they were always out about
Right,
the city
right.
doing whatever. But that facilitates it, where they were able to get pretty good at skating pretty quickly.
I'll throw my hat in the ring. Like, I did skateboard. I started probably when I was like in 3rd grade, and I think I hung it up maybe around 10th grade. I never got that deep into it, but I'm in the same boat as you. Like, I grew up with a very stable like home life, but I think where I had the disaffected like youth syndrome was like going to a private school.
Yeah,
because I didn't want to be like those kids at all, and I always kind of felt like an outsider looking in. That's how I kind of relate to Stevie.
Yeah, and I mean, like, if I were to say from my end too, like, I think I was kind of in the middle with that, because I wanted to be a bad kid, but I was too wimpy to ever really do anything. Yeah. I wanted to be like those kids when I was younger, but I never. Wimpy's not the right word.
Yeah.
But I wasn't bold enough to ever do anything like that.
I can understand that. Yeah, and I mean,
that's why I played Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
Just as good.
Yeah.
Like,
live vicariously through
the Birdman himself.
Chad Muska.
Chad Muska. I remember at the turn of the century he got in trouble for saying the N-word.
Oof.
He seems like the guy that would do that.
Yeah, and they said you can't say that.
Can't say, I don't think.
You Sheryl Crow looking motherfucker.
But I remember, like, oh gosh, we must have been like 9th or 10th grade. Like, a couple of my friends and I would just like, we really wanted to make skate videos because we would see those like Tony Hawk videos and be like, oh dude, we gotta get a fisheye, we gotta put some cool music on it, make it like an emotional thing. But like, we never had the opportunity to make any kind of skate video like they were making, where they're like hopping fences and like drinking 40s stuff. Because we were just, that wasn't genuine.
It wasn't genuine or candid.
But I wanted it to be so badly.
Yeah, because like half of the stuff or half of the clips in a skate video aren't skating either. It's hanging out and having a good time.
Exactly.
And the way that these hooligans were doing it was part of the draw.
That's just the way they were.
Yeah.
Yeah. My friends.
And see, I wanted to project that kind of persona onto myself because that is so different than the kids I went to school with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like Sperry wearing khaki shorts, polo shirts when they're like in 8th grade.
I didn't see Sperry's until I was 22. And then I was confused.
See, I fought back against it so hard. I was so disgusted by Sperry's on like 8th graders. Man, I want to go buy an Element skateboard and listen to, I don't know, what was I listening to then? Ooh, 8th grade. I was definitely listening to Sublime by then. I was starting to get into some... Stop.
That explains.
I was starting to get into some old school rap, but...
Yeah,
when everyone else was in my high school was listening to like Dave Matthews Band, and like
Dave Matthews,
Widespread Panic. I'm just like, this is boring.
Bad Company,
Bad Company,
Rat, Anvil, Wasp.
I saw a guy with a Power Trip shirt today.
Oh yeah,
at work.
Right on.
I was like, cool. I know what that is, but not really. Yeah. I was just like, yeah.
Hey, I've seen Art wear that shirt.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Right on, man.
Oh, you know Art too?
Yeah, but it's like. I wanted to fit in with my friends, and that group of friends I never did, and I never really found any friends that like I really got into. Like I guess I'm like Stevie made the jump into the group, and my friends were like my legit friends. We hung out with each other and everything, but it's like them within themselves were like super tight. Within this key group of maybe like 5 guys.
Yeah. And
like I realized I was, because like I could not go every single day and go skate every single day till the sun was out. Like I was never gonna be anything but like a peripheral.
You weren't the core. You weren't part of the core.
And so then it's crazy because I wanted to have the shoes and the shirts and everything, just like my friends. And then when I realized kind of maybe around 8th grade it wasn't going to happen, like I remember I like made a conscious decision to like brand myself on my musical like interest, and that's when I became really into like punk rock, really heavy and everything, because like I realized that was not going to be my identity, because it just wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
Not with like everything, the way it was.
I still have living proof of how hard I wanted to do this. November 6, 2008, the first photo I ever uploaded to Facebook is me on my skateboard.
Hell yeah. Looking good.
You look pretty cool, dude.
I don't know.
What actually, yeah, going off what you were saying, I had thought about this whenever Stevie goes into his room and tears down his posters and starts putting up skating posters and stuff like that.
Oh, and
Yeah.
the Wave of Mutilation is playing.
Yeah, like I can think of
Oh, I've done that so many
I can think of
times.
a time or two where I like completely wash out what was me before and try and get into a new into a
Thing.
new thing,
Well,
yeah.
really hard.
And you settle into your identity eventually. But
Yeah.
I remember like not tearing down stuff, but like putting up like corn or
yeah.
stuff like that.
They're still there. I can see them from here.
Shut up.
Oh man, my friend, he had a Korn album in like 2005, the one that had the cover of The Wall. Do you remember that?
I was never much of a
The
corn
Wall.
guy.
What do you mean?
Pink Floyd's The Wall.
I don't remember that.
Korn
album.
had a radio single. It was like around 2005.
Really?
Was it Twisted Transistor? Okay.
But man, the art on that thing was super bad.
Okay. The Follow the Leader album had cool art.
But yeah, so I want to talk about the music soundtrack real quick. I felt like it was a little too cool for school.
Okay.
Think so?
I was going to bring up at some point. If you didn't know, would you believe that this movie was made in '95? And I think the one thing that I would say no to is the music is too perfect.
Yeah. It sort of seems like a greatest hits stuck into a movie.
Well, also things like, so, you know, it's 1996 or 7.
Hmm.
You know, they're playing PlayStation, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, I think about seriously what they would listen. Like, so we had some older friends who like showed us like the Smiths and the Cure and the Ramones and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But then we're also listening to like a lot of rap music and also contemporary stuff
Mm-hmm.
that, you know, like a young person would listen to, like Thrice and everything. Thursday, that stuff was popping when I was a young kid or a young teenager. And so like like Wave of Mutilation, which is from like Doolittle, which is like 1986 or something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know if they would listen. You know, especially when you're
Well, no,
12 and 13, and then
No, absolutely not. But what it is more than anything is Jonah Hill's music taste, which is apparently very
but
good.
I'll say this though. Though in respects to Let Me Marry It, what Danny was it? One of y'all said about this is like a skate movie, like a skate video. It's like a skate movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the kid's a little young, and he probably isn't gonna make a skate. But I remember watching skate movies with my friends, and they had really sick soundtracks.
Yeah, exactly.
And the guys were now in their like early 20s
Yeah.
and stuff, and so they had pretty sophisticated taste. So it was like the Shins and like Scared of Chaka, like these indie, more low key indie punk stuff, or you know, some bands that would end up becoming big, like Block Party. I remember was on some. So I guess that does kind of make sense though, because like Jonah Hill is curating his own skate video within the movie, so he does have carte blanche to use that, and it's not just, you know, saying this is what, you know, they'd be listening to or the sound of the time, because it's neither of those things.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say it's an incredible soundtrack because it's like the stuff I listen to every day in the car, basically. Like that soundtrack is like
It's really good. I mean, like
to a T what like my playlists are usually.
to what you asked about, would you know if this movie had been made at that time?
Yeah.
I never got that impression because, you know, save for the soundtrack and save for the fact that the movie's in 4:3, which I thought was pretty cool.
The aspect ratio.
Yeah. It seems like all of those things were more of a lens than they were. I don't know. Like I always
Like textually, it's not very dated.
Yeah.
Like they don't say, "Oh man, fucking Bill Clinton."
Yeah, this
you
is
know?
the 90s.
But wouldn't that be a
Oh.
little too on the nose?
Yeah, and
I suppose so, but
it's two things. I
See,
think-
I read something about this is like this is not a period piece. This is more of a time capsule.
Yeah. Well, and also there's a thing to be said about like hyperrealism, which is just you exaggerate things to even increase like the realistic effect, because if it really was a you know,
A peek into
a real
Yeah.
legit, you know, peek into a day in 1997 in Los Angeles, it would be a lot more dated. Like there would be a lot more signifiers. But by removing those like unnecessary things and just kind of imagining it without that, but in a realistic manner, it actually serves as being more realistic and less distracting.
Yeah.
You know?
I think for me it seemed like a movie about the 90s with a 90s filter on it rather than a movie that would have been shot in the 90s about
I see what you're
contemporary
saying.
times.
I see what you're saying.
Well, and to me, I didn't feel like.
but I think it's. I see what you're saying, but I think it's like the best lens possible.
I think it's really really done well. Like it, man. There's some really like
Well, see, the thing that I feel really like that gives me the sense that it could have been made at that time is realistically, we could make this movie.
Yeah,
There is
It's very low
nothing
budget.
technically insane or like ahead of the time or
Even,
Like,
even
you
when
could
they
have made this
the
movie
car
at any
wrecks,
point.
like there's
Yeah,
not.
It's a
Yeah.
quick cut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they might have not even totaled that car. They might have just
flipped it over.
turned it on its side
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then set action.
But that was speaking of that. That's another thing that made me really excited about watching this movie. Is like we could have made this movie, and it makes me like kind of inspires me in a way.
To want you to try something like that.
It just I don't know. I've always wanted to make like a skate video with that attitude, but like I don't know how to do it.
I don't know. I mean, you did that thing that we did for Big Ben.
Yeah.
I think that's a close.
I mean,
shot.
yeah, that's exactly it. I just wanted like a little like peep into what we were doing. Like just I don't know.
Yeah, it was like a not what's the word I'm looking for. It's like a. I mean, it really just is like a VHS recorded tape of.
And see, I always see videos like that, like whether they're in a movie or like you see someone post online, and I'm just like, I wish I could put my name to something like this. And that was one of the reasons I brought the camera to Big Ben. I was like, I don't know, nobody that I know really does stuff like this.
Yeah.
And, like puts together little videos of their exploits or whatever, and I don't know.
Well, I'd say just keep it up.
Yeah.
Like, because actually, we're going to show you, Art. You haven't seen it yet.
Mm-mm.
That's what I was exporting.
Oh, cool.
I just saw a picture of in the pictures you posted of Chris with the camera.
Mhm.
I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh, what's he doing with the camera? But
So, and the thing, like, also what I really like about this movie is the music really takes a scene to another level.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I enjoy most about editing videos is putting music like that perfectly syncs up with the scene, whatever it is, and making it like
It elevates it.
transcending it into
Yeah.
something else.
I really like the editing in this movie, but I also feel like I'm not as jazzed about the music in this as you guys are. Not saying that I don't like the tracks individually and everything, but I also think that if you put too much music into a movie, then you're kind of resting on the virtue of the awesome song.
yeah,
Sure.
I see what you're saying.
And it can trick you as a producer, and your audience is thinking something's better than it's not.
Yeah, you think the scene is better than.
Yeah.
For instance,
I see what
like
you're saying.
people got crazy about the Suicide Squad trailer, right? Because they had these super expensive, awesome classic rock songs, right? Which, yes, those songs are timeless, you know?
Yeah.
And so people got all jazzed about the Suicide Squad, you know, just because of, man, you put that song, you know,
I guess it's just a
you
personal
put Ballroom Blitz to some action
It's
scenes.
just a personal thing to me and how I connect to music because I know people that go and drive around with no music in their car.
Yeah.
I need music in my car to like it's set like in my head I'm in a scene almost.
Sure.
That's how I feel at all times.
Sure.
And yeah, like I remember watching Breaking Bad and like
I don't.
just the way they would sync up songs to scenes.
In
It
fact-
made me just want to do stuff like that.
In fact, let me say,
it's one of the reasons like doing little videos and stuff or doing podcasts even is one like it's one of the things I've stuck with
yeah.
because that stuff like is really moving to me.
Yeah, and let me say, like, the more I think about it, the more actually I feel stronger about this and not less critical because I was thinking about movies that use music to great effect, like some Martin Scorsese movies, right? few, but not all, of when Quentin Tarantino goes crazy with the soundtrack. Like, the music does truly elevate the scene.
Yeah.
That's the word
And
I'm looking
I'll-
for. Elevate.
And I'll say this: the music does not elevate the scene. It elevates the mood. It establishes that a general, thing. But there is no
It doesn't improve what's on the screen.
right. It's there. There is no like, oh man,
Yeah.
that shit. When they
You
go
know
to
what-
the party scene and they start playing,
Big
like that
L or
was
whatever.
perfect.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I would say that like that time lapse shot of them moving in the kitchen and in the living room. I thought that was really really cool. Like,
You know what actually? What piece of music really did elevate a portion of like a piece of this movie was the trailer. The trailer did music really
yeah.
well. So there's a part where it like hard cuts to them skating down the median.
yeah,
And I don't know what track it is, but that track
Yeah.
made me like want to see this movie.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, this looks awesome.
I thought the 2 times they showed that scene of them in
Oh,
the
it's
median was
beautiful.
really cool.
It's beautiful.
How he's kind of like struggling to keep up the first time he's on that median, and then like he's cruising and just
And the second part was right after Ray told him the story about his brother, right?
yeah
Yeah. That I don't know. I thought that was really effective. I think the movie took a little while to kind of like settle into what it wanted to do,
Mhm.
but I think that might be my favorite part of the movie is when things are kind of starting to unravel with the friend group,
Mhm.
and then Ray kind of sits him down and
no, I think that's where the heart of the movie
Yeah.
lies.
yeah
100%. That's all the payoff and is for that scene.
yeah.
That's the most cathartic, most sets everything till like why everyone kind of is though. How'd y'all feel about the ending? So after
I'm okay with it because I didn't want it to be a sad movie. I didn't want it to be
That's
like
fair.
some way it ended up like really horribly. Like in the same way like Train Spotting could have been the most tragic movie
yeah
ever, and in parts it is in the
Yeah.
middle. I like that it has a happy ending.
yeah
They could have been different, sure. Because I mean, if I were that mom, I would have been pissed.
yeah, well,
There's some parts in that
Or
that
called
were,
the
that
police.
were
it
really
seems like some
unrealistic.
consequences are
Yeah,
left
Right,
off
like
for
the fact that fuck shit was there. Period.
car wreck.
Right.
Yeah.
Being underage and drinking and crashing a car and almost killing a child. It's
I
like,
can almost see that like Jonah Hill writing this was like, I don't know what to do, how to make this like tonally appropriate.
But I just gotta finish it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it just ends. But what I think is pretty nifty is I've seen on YouTube, people will take clips of this movie and then put it through a VHS filter.
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah. And then I like to imagine, like, is this... something I was thinking about that's really cool is in high school, I had an older friend named Tony. And Tony he was like the first... I was a freshman when he was a senior. And he's the guy who got me into like the Ramones and everything.
Mhm.
And he was like the older, best skater guy, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people, my friends who were immediately my age, looked up to him and everything. And so, they introduced me to him, and he was really nice and cool to me. What I think is really nifty is I was doing the math. Tony was the age of the kid,
Oh, cool. At that time.
the exact age.
Yeah.
So, those first skate videos he would have seen at 12 were the skate videos that he was watching
Mhm.
and everything.
Wow.
And I think that the movie is actually pretty timeless. Like the mid '90s thing, I don't know if it's appropriate because it's
The
like
title.
yeah, because it's not a movie that rests in.
I agree.
I don't think it's-
I think the title takes away from. The
I don't
movie.
think it's really that nostalgic at all. And like that subculture is still, it's not as strong, but it's still there.
I was worried about this
it-
being just a total nostalgia trip.
Right, and
based on the title, I was like, that might be what it is, and I still will probably enjoy it because I
And-
have nostalgia for that. I think the title does do a disservice to the movie.
That attitude still exists. What you were mentioning about the Odd Future, like culture, that raucous, energetic teenager energy, that still exists. I think it's the setting that they chose for that.
right,
type of,
like the thing with the 40s and the cigarettes, that was me and my friends. And
That's still us.
And like
Yeah,
that's like, and it's like, it's
And we still listen to that music.
Like, honestly,
yeah,
damn it.
and it's like,
Wait,
No.
hold on.
and it's like the only thing different really was the clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, and even for me, even more, when I was their age and doing all, that,
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't even like the advent of smartphones and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still, to me, is like, man, that could have been 2004, Like, in 2008, I had a brick. I had a Nokia brick. That was my first cell phone in 2008. And, like, my first sibling to have a phone at all was my older brother in 07. He had a Razor, and that still only had Snake, So, I think things just get real different after that point.
Mm-hmm.
But going up in...
Up until then, from like maybe the 80s, late 80s.
Yeah.
Or when handheld cams.
Guys, I'm thinking we can make a movie called mid-2010s. Because there have been multiple occasions, all three of us included, where we've had a 40 and Wu-Tang is playing.
Yeah,
on the
that's
TV.
true.
Like, absolutely.
On my way here. Like,
I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm saying.
We
We can do this. Like I said, hey,
it's a mouthful. Mid 2010s.
yeah.
mid-10s.
It's a few more syllables.
Mid 2010s, but sort of kind of late 2010s.
Directed by...
Directed by
Jonah Hill.
Yeah, we can do that.
We
We
can
can swing
by
it.
Seth.
We can make-
by Seth Rogen.
I almost said
Ooh.
that.
we get Seth Rogen in it, and we get a rivalry going, and then our sequels go head to head.
I
Ooh.
don't
At the box office.
want to be... No, not Seth Rogen.
Ugh! The skateboard! My weed! It prints
My hoverboard!
it prints money. What are you talking about? What you mean?
Get Seth on the phone right now.
Yeah.
He has a writing partner, Evan Goldberg or something. I think he's easier to get a hold of. So
Okay, we can do that.
I'll talk to my people.
I don't want our movie to be like a Judd Apatow flick. I don't want that.
That's what I was gonna call. Like,
I ain't gonna lie. That's who I was beginning to dial. Like, it was auto, like, you could see it in my phone, like, Judd.
You hit Jane who
coming up.
hit the boss.
But speaking of, I want to talk real quick about what genre of movie this really is, which is coming of age, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
Have y'all seen any other coming of age movies? And
Well-
do you have a favorite coming of age movie?
Well, see,
Sans this?
we discussed on our other podcast, almost 2 years ago, how my favorite coming of age, quote unquote, movie is Trainspotting, which you can debate it's coming of age or not. And
No,
it-
that's
and it is,
that's
but
coming of age for a young adult. It
I
is.
feel like this
Yeah, it
movie
is.
is not that different. It's like a more mild form of Trainspotting.
Mm.
That's how I feel.
I mean, they're related. I'd be wary to compare them much more than they do have.
There are some drugs.
And they're
no,
they're-
I don't even
they're-
think it's sad. I just think it's
that
the
they're
fa-
coming of age, sure, but
the
like
frenetic pace of a bunch of kids that have a lot of like baggage, and then things start to go wrong in the middle, and then at the end it's kind of happy.
that's a lot of
Sure,
movies. But
Uh,
but I would agree that is a coming of age movie. Usually we're used to coming of age movies for high schoolers, but for Trainspotting for young adults, yes, that is absolutely a coming of age movie.
I would say my favorite coming
And
of
a
age.
good choice.
I would say my favorite coming of age movie might be Clockwork Orange. Like it's a much wilder example of it because the way that Alex develops is awful. You know what I mean?
I don't know if that qualifies because a coming of age
Well-
movie has to show not just the progress of a person, which does Alex like progress as a person in the movie? Yes, but it doesn't reflect a shared experience that a lot of people have.
Okay, I
So
can see that.
that's
Yeah. Okay.
what else? Can you
Stand
think of
By
another
Me is
one?
also good.
Stand By Me is that's one.
I've never seen Stand By Me.
It's good. It's worth seeing.
Yeah.
Even at the age of 23.
What are some other ones then? Home Alone.
Home
No, I
Alone.
don't know.
Did you see it?
I did not see it. Like the original series or the new movie?
The new movie, either or.
I watched the original series.
Yeah, like Stephen King, every now and then. Like Stand By Me is written by Stephen King. That's a coming of age one. Those are pretty good. Very specific to his thing, but
Breakfast
like,
Club. It's pretty good.
Breakfast. Yeah, all the John Hughes movies. A lot of them are coming of age.
Would you say Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
Kind of.
Or is that just a movie about teenagers?
No, it is for like the people around Ferris.
Yeah.
Like it's Cameron's coming of age movie.
Sure.
His neurotic friend, like he's the one who undergoes a character arc in the movie. And who Bueller, Bueller helps, but man, I'm trying to think of the movie, and I really really liked it. American Graffiti.
Oh yeah, George Lucas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Never seen it.
That was a pretty well-known coming-of-age movie. Came out in the early 70s, and it was about the early 60s, which is kind of crazy that, like, back in the day, you could make nostalgic movies pretty quickly because of how well-defined the decades were.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, I think as we get further removed, they become more well-defined.
well, I'll say this is that American Graffiti was interesting because it was a pretty nostalgic movie and a coming of age movie about the early 60s that looks like, it looks like Happy Days, but the movie was made in the early 70s, so there's only like a 10-year difference between them. The Wedding Singer with Adam Sandler was made in like 1996, and it is a pastiche of all these 80s things, which was only 10 years before then. So
well, you can also The Godfather.
The Godfather.
That was made in 74,
was made,
and it takes place in like the early 50s, right?
Yeah, it takes place from the late 40s because I think Michael just gets back from World War II, and then it goes into the early 60s in the Godfather.
And also, Apocalypse Now. That movie was not that far removed from Vietnam.
Yeah, but what I think is that it's interesting is that we're taking more and more time to go back.
Sure, yeah.
So this movie, the mid 90s, right, is say it's as late as 1997. The earliest it's 1995, but I think it's more 96 or 97. We're in 2019. That's 22 years, and that's like quite. You know, it's taken some time. There's still not a lot of these movies harkening back to that.
Yeah.
But is that a thing of like delayed adolescence for Generation Y, or like I'm trying to think of maybe what the big picture is and the explanation of that. Are they would they rather have nostalgia grabs like a Star Wars reboot, or is it just a matter of the Hollywood system being so dead set on existing intellectual properties to give any money to? That's so you're not making these original movies that take place even if.
But you don't think that could make a bunch of money for people looking for a nostalgia trip, especially people our age who are getting into the workforce now and able to afford to go to the movies?
Right. Well, especially this movie, that person's now like the key market, like someone in their early to mid 30s.
Well, right. Isn't that why Stranger Things really struck a chord with a lot of people like a little bit older than us? Because like that was what they were doing, and
right. But also, Stranger Things doesn't have the budget of a full Hollywood feature film now, but when it did, I don't know. Like I'm trying to think of what the explanation is. Is the explanation on the consumer's behalf, right? Mm-hmm. Like I said, is it a thing of where they don't really want it, or is it a thing of the producer's behalf? Like they're not. Well, just period. People aren't shelling out money for anything that isn't an adapted existing property.
Or in the Marvel Cinematic
Universe. Because this movie was made, but this movie was very low budget.
Yeah, and very limited release.
Yes.
Did it actually come out in theaters?
It did.
Wow.
Yeah, but like I said, very limited. I don't know what the budget was. Did anyone else look that up?
I can look it up.
Mm-mm. But my favorite
been too much.
My favorite part of the movie was the casting. I love a movie and there's no other way to not do like natural casting where everybody looks,
plus they have to be able to skate,
right? Not necessarily like photogenic, and that they look like a group of real kids.
I don't see the budget. It made $7.4 million though.
I can't imagine the budget's more than like $5 million.
Music, release, reception, production.
Like I said, they didn't even flip the car, man.
Yeah.
And then they're all unknowns. I saw a picture of Jonah Hill in the back of a van.
Yeah, I've seen that.
With the camera. Yeah. So it's like yeah, that's not even like a sophisticated rig or anything.
I think my favorite part of the movie was just how I related to it, and especially at the very end when it all comes together and the what's his name, fourth grade shows the video.
Yeah.
It reminds me of everything like I tried and wanted and sometimes did do when I was that age. Just putting together little stupid things like that with my friends. That's what really.
They haven't released what the budget was. Like there are people who have been asking about it, but nobody can find anything on it.
I wonder if like he doesn't want to talk about it because like he maybe only raised so much, but because it was such a passion project.
Yeah.
Jonah Hill
Then
strikes
why does
me
it
as
matter?
the kind of guy who would put his own money into
Yeah.
it. So, and then that becomes maybe a controversial thing for him,
Mm-hmm.
you know, as a producer, because he's also a producer.
Yeah.
But at any rate, I like the movie.
Like
I'm not like my wife asked, should I watch it? And I told her, not really. Like
I told my wife that she should.
Like she was like, well, what do you know, was it good? I said it was great, but you know,
Yeah. My mom always asked me like, have I seen any movies? I was like, I mean, yeah, I watched a movie I really liked, but there's no reason for you to watch it. Like it would never affect you in any way.
I would say, well, yeah, I can see that.
I mean,
in your specific case, like,
and there was also, like I said, there were times where I was just really uncomfortable watching the movie.
yeah,
Some things that reminded me of things in real life, and then other things of like, you know, when the kid's yelling at his mom.
Oh yeah,
You know, I'm
that's
really
kind of a tough scene too.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be a tough scene. You know, it's not, but it also makes me think about like what kind of kids like yell at their moms like that. You know, like
I would have got my ass annihilated.
I agree, and it's like I don't want to make it a racial thing, but it reminds me of like when black comedians talk about like their white friends they would watch and how they would talk to their parents.
Russell Peters has a bit about that.
Yeah, and it's like I've never seen anything like that my whole life. My mom's white, my dad's Mexican, but like in my household, like there's just no way. Like it was like old school. Like when you're getting scolded at, you look at your feet.
Yep.
You know, that's a big thing about Hispanic culture. Like they even teach teachers about it because apparently I think in Anglo culture, when you're being scolded and corrected, the polite thing is to make eye contact. In Hispanic culture, you do not make eye contact because that's seen as a challenge of authority. You look down, and it's like, but just like when the kid was yelling at his mom, like, and very realistically, really good acting.
Yeah.
You know, like fuck you, fuck. I was like an old Southern lady clutching my pearls. I was like, well, I never.
Yeah. Clutch your Power Trip shirt. Oh my
goodness me. But like at the same time, oh man, like I said that, and another thing is like that Ruben kid reminded me of like a kid I know who was killed because he got in a fight with a person who was not like a good friend but a friend of mine, and like he had a super rough life just like that Ruben kid, and he was a piece of shit. Nobody liked him. They got in a fight and they both stabbed each other because the jerk pulled the knife, and then my friend acquaintance got the knife back, and he was a big feller, so he was able to survive some of the trauma, and in the fight he killed the kid. And it made me so sad because I could tell everyone just remembered him as a jerk. And he like, I just remember like the way that kid acted reminded me of like certain jerks that I grew up with, and it was like, and I just felt so bad that like nobody missed him, and then when I like just thought about his parents, you know, because he was from one of the Warsaw families in this small town. It was like you just get the feeling like he never had a chance.
Yeah.
Never had a chance, and it's like, and just all these awful things are just defense mechanisms.
Yeah.
You know, like the way he would tell freaking Sunburn, you know, don't say
thank you. Yeah.
Like don't show like any kind of like
don't be excited about stuff.
Put your head down and
Right.
move on.
yeah. And it's like, and it just reminded me, for some reason, distinctly of that one kid that I knew that passed away, and that like nobody felt bad, and I just found that so sad.
Yeah, it becomes really sad, especially in the movie, because like it's made apparent whenever Ray explains, yeah, you should say thank you, like that's fine.
Yeah,
That's common courtesy.
It becomes obvious that it's not that Ruben says that because he's wants to come off as tough, but it's probably because there's something like
Right.
there's something in his family, or there's something that he's been through that's his defense mechanism. And
Yeah. And then
it might be a whole thing of like, don't get close to people because they're just gonna let you down, which is
Yeah.
probably, it could be part of his character and why he takes Stevie getting into the group so hard.
Yeah.
Right. But I was talking about the ending with the video. Remind me. Okay, so there's 3 characters who are cool. The nice young lady. Fucking the main guy, Ray.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And
4th grade.
4th grade.
Fourth grade.
4th grade's dope.
Yeah.
I like that guy.
I appreciate his super baby pitch.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I want in on the ground floor
I like
for super baby.
Look at the girls like, no, that's really cool.
No, that's awesome.
yeah.
No, she's like that's sick.
Yeah. We all need someone like that in our lives.
Hey, do you remember the part where Stevie puts on his brother's Phillies hat and he just goes, "Sup, fool"?
Yeah.
That's the first line in the movie.
And
Or
I
one
know-
of them.
Yeah, because he had just moved to LA, and he probably saw a tough Chicano guy.
Was that a detail that they just moved? I don't remember that.
Well, he mentions that he used to live in Florida.
Yeah.
Oh,
mentions,
does he?
Yeah.
Yes,
I
he
missed
does.
that.
He mentioned to the girl when she asked him, "Have you ever had a girlfriend?" And he says,
She
"Yes,
once
at
at Disney
Florida?
World.
once in Florida."
Oh.
Yeah,
She worked at Disney World.
she worked at Disney World. Man, that sounds like some bullshit. I would say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she just goes to a different school.
Yeah.
Except it'd be like she worked at Dairy Queen.
No, I mean, like, one thing I thought about in this movie is, so we all have older brothers. I think.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
we all have older brothers.
I think it's a little different with you, Chris, maybe, because like y'all are so separated in age. Like,
Yeah.
me and
I
my
used to- Mm-mm.
I was gonna say he could relate the most
I headbutted my brother when I was like 8 or 9. I
because
gave him a big ass bloody nose.
Oh yeah, because he's 5 years. Okay, no, so he'd be 5 years older. My older brother's 4 years.
My
older
brother's
than
9
me.
years older than me, so he could
Yeah.
pick me up at
Yeah.
one point.
my
Now
older
I can
brother's
pick him
1
up
year
and
older.
slam him against the concrete
But like,
wall.
did you ever in your life, and I'm sure y'all did, but think that like what your brother did was the coolest stuff ever?
Hell no.
No, see, and that's the thing.
No, I thought what my
that.
brother's friends did was cool.
Oh, okay.
Well,
No, I'm joking. I mean, yeah, of course, but I don't know.
me and my brother
We're very different.
are Irish.
Y'all are really close.
are
though.
Irish twins.
Yeah.
So like we were more the same person.
Sure.
So I never went through a period of idolizing my older brother.
Man, I had that for a long time because like he was always a school level higher than me. So
Yeah.
when I was in elementary, he was a middle schooler, and that was cool. When I was a middle schooler, he was a high schooler, and that was cool. When I was a high schooler, he was in college, and that was cool. Like that.
Yeah,
And-
he was like your next evolution.
Yeah, and the
I was that older brother to my little brother.
yeah, and that's the thing, right? Like the music he listened to, I wanted to listen to it.
Yeah.
The stuff that he was into, when he started skating, I started skating because that was the cool thing. And like,
See, I guess that's the big difference for me is my brother and I are just nothing alike at all.
Yeah.
Like we don't. I mean, like some of the music, like we'll listen to like some classic rock or stuff, but like he never skateboarded when he was little. He never had like a fledgling rebel phase or anything like that. He was very like
he wasn't
I play,
actively working.
I play
through-
football and do track, and I make very good grades in school.
yeah,
I wish I'd made better grades.
I wish I did track.
Fuck. I do not wish I did track. That
Well, he-
shit's
he
for
did-
the
he did,
birds.
He did shot put.
Ooh,
shot put.
I wish I did shot.
Bro,
put.
you throw rocks,
Yeah.
kick rocks.
Ooh.
But like, yeah, I mean that's interesting because like Chris's brother.
We used to scuffle a lot though, even though he was much bigger than me at
It's
all
quite
times.
older. Oh yeah, I mean,
He would. I remember
were
specifically.
you
at one-
an annoying little brother?
No, he was an annoying big brother. That's what it was. He was like another parent. I remember at one point he put me in a full Nelson and picked me up like that.
Oof.
And I got in trouble for this. And I was like maybe 7 or 8, so he would have been 16,
And
17.
you went whack.
And I just went boom, and hit him in the nose like that.
Oof.
I did that to my dad.
Never felt so proud of my life.
Yeah.
still think about
I
it.
did. I did not feel good because when I did it, I was 17, and it fucked my dad's shit up, and he had 2 black eyes. And yeah, that fight was started because my sister thought it would be funny to pretend that I hit her.
That's not a cool thing to do.
Cool
sis.
prank.
No, it's not. And so
April Fools?
Yeah, April Fools.
it could have been a scene from this movie. We were
Yeah.
minding our own. I was minding my own business, and my sister goes, "Oh, Art, stop hitting me!" And my dad comes
That's
in,
scary.
starts cussing up a storm, and he shoves me, and I shove him, and then that ended up happening, just because my sister thought it'd be funny. Fucking whatever, man. I
don't think you could say
I don't
that.
even care anymore.
Yo, I don't think you can say that.
I stopped myself. It took some restraint. I was gonna.
I like that the cop was getting into it with the kids. Too.
I love it when he
He's
rent a
back and
cop.
I love it
forth.
when Ray like charges the. He walks to the like chain link fence and the rent-a-cop just kind of like backs.
Yeah.
Up. Like, okay, hey, stay in your lane. It's like, what is that guy ever gonna do?
I mean, I ain't trying to throw hands with a kid, especially when you. Well, I thought it was. He's like, man, I make more money than all of y'all. That was a good line.
Yeah.
I like when he calls him like what does he call him, like a Samoan something, Sheryl Crow, and he's just like, all right, that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
He calls him Sheryl Crow first, and he doesn't know who that is.
Oh yeah.
Then he calls him a Samoan.
And Ray's just like, that's pretty good.
I was like, why are you out here? Surf up for you guys.
Oh,
Like-
dude. A part that made me think of you is when fuck shit is kind of like acting way too drunk in front of Ray and his like pro friends. He touches that guy's hair.
Oh, dude.
Oh,
Man, that's...
yeah.
And even like that one guy's like, it's cool, man, it happens.
Yeah.
He goes, he touched my
He's
hair.
like, he's touched my hair, man. Like,
Yeah.
oof.
Yeah. But
I enjoyed the movie.
I think it was a very good movie.
Yeah.
Very good.
I mean, yeah, it struck a chord with me in a way. Like, the ending is what tied it all together with me when they played that video. It reminded me so much of what my friends and I used to do. As dumb as some of the stuff we did was, just seeing it all put together and like looking back on stuff we would do, and it just made me crack a smile.
No.
Yeah. I got familiar feelings, but they were mostly negative watching the movie. But it's also, I appreciate the handiwork of the movie
Yeah.
and its authenticity to elicit those feelings. And that's nothing disparaging on the part of Senor Jonah Hill.
Mr. Hill.
Mr. Hill.
Yes.
Yes. But, all right, man. So that was the
Midnight.
mid-90s. Let's take a radical spin.
Well, I think we need to each do our own trick. You got to do the airwalk.
Okay.
You got to do the dark slide. That's tough.
Okay. Oh, I don't know if I can.
Hard flip.
I can do some cool inline skate tricks.
Oh, inline skating.
Cool and inline skate. That's an oxymoron.
Ah, well, you know what?
Ooh.
I'm not the one who...
Oh, yeah.
I'm straight edge.
I remember.
I'm straight edge.
I've always kind of made that joke with you because I remember being at a skate shop, at like the skate park downtown in my hometown, where someone was like really bagging on inline skaters, and everyone just agreed that they were the losers of the skate community.
Like, fuck you guys.
I always picture like a guy on like Venice Beach in a Speedo.
Man, you know what? Inline skating is more dangerous because, oh no, I messed up this trick. I'm going to bail my skateboard. Oh, I messed up this BMX trick. I'm going to bail my skateboard.
Well, that's your fault.
These fucking things are attached to my feet. If I fuck up, I fuck up.
I don't know. They're all pretty dangerous, man.
Mine's more dangerous.
Wait,
I'm the, man.
you inline?
Yeah.
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 What a loser.
No wonder you picked Max Knight. You saw that shit and you're like, this is
You
my
probably wore a
Italian
helmet.
job. This
Huh?
is my bullet.
Did you wear a helmet?
My mom made me wear a helmet.
Yeah, he's a loser. Look at this guy.
Oh, man.
No helmet,
Fucking
no
skaters,
problem.
man.
I remember when my dad said, he said about skateboarders, he said, oh, we call those suicide boards.
Oh, man.
All right.
Y'all ready for this?
I'm ready for it.
All right,
Chris, are you ready for this baby movie?
I guess. Here we go.
So in sort of the same vein of, so when I was watching mid '90s, I thought, you know, I don't like how maybe skeptical I've become, even to the point of cynicism. When I thought Jonah Hill, I thought, I don't like Jonah Hill. I might not like this movie. That's one thing I thought, but I was pleasantly surprised. And I need to step back from myself and be like, you know what? Maybe I should not be cynical with people. So I chose a movie that was.
I feel like this is cynical. What he's gonna say?
Oh no. So I chose a 2003 movie that was directed by Bobcat Goldthwait. The screenplay was written by Don Barris, Jimmy Kimmel, and Tony Barberi.
What?
And it has and it stars Jeff Dunham.
Oh my god.
Jeff Dunham.
See, you've gone to another level. Like, okay.
Well, not Jeff Dunham. What's that guy?
Wait, okay.
Oh my
this is way
gosh.
different. You said like I don't like Jonah Hill, and then you bring up Jeff Dunham. It's like, whoa, hold on.
Dane Cook. Sorry.
Oh my fucking
Dane Cook. This
isn't helping.
This is a 2003 movie created and produced by Comedy Central, and it's about the greatest prank ever. It's called Windy City.
Oh! Okay, you've made me happy again.
Have you ever heard of this movie, Art?
No.
You've made me happy.
Boy.
You've redeemed yourself.
And I am quite steeped in the filmography of Mr. Cook.
Hey,
I've even seen.
Guess what? The main character? He's a real guy. Skater.
Oh yes.
Wait, you know this movie?
I've seen it.
Yeah,
we
we've
watched
seen
it together.
We watched it together
on a
accidentally.
whim.
Accidentally.
It was in
It was on YouTube.
It was in Rocco Bodie of Mega 64's favorite YouTube videos. We were like, it's like an hour and a half long. We put it on, or like autoplayed probably.
Yeah,
we were just
because the thing is, we thought it was a trailer at first.
like 2 minutes in, we're like, okay, wait, what is this?
It was fucking incredible. So it's I don't know if I should explain.
No, I
some
think
of
you
the
should
pla-
just.
okay, yeah.
I think you just
go into it blind. So it's about the greatest prank ever. That's all I'll say.
Wow,
I'll say.
what a pick!
I'll say right off the bat, I don't hate Dane Cook.
I mean,
Because I saw the whole character arc of everybody loves him.
Yeah, I remember
Now
that.
everybody hates him.
yeah.
And then like I've rewatched some of his stand up and I'm like, it's not that bad. And it's not even that bad. That's me trying to be cool.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it is funny.
Yeah.
And I sympathize with any, like, once, like, a person who is not, like, doesn't necessarily, deserve it, like, I'm not saying, like, I feel bad for the underdog of, Kevin Spacey or Harvey Weinstein. Like, you get what I'm saying? But, like,
Underdog.
but when someone, like, publicly becomes, like, I guess a pariah,
Yeah.
like Amy Schumer, right? Or Dane Cook.
Yeah.
Just for doing what they've always been doing.
I always take interest in like stopping and evaluating.
Yeah.
Okay, is this
deserved?
Is this bullshit or not?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. But I've never seen this movie.
Well, okay, and to be fair, it doesn't really star Dane Cook.
What?
He had a part in it.
But it's not his movie.
Fuck.
He had a part.
It's
in
not about him.
I tell you what.
Wasn't he one of the writers? Well, it's not about him. But
Yeah.
I believe
I
he
was
was one
so
of the writers.
excited though, Chris, when he said Jeff Dunham.
Sorry,
I was trying to figure out what this could be.
I
I was
conflated
like-
the two.
I was like, what in the fuck?
Sorry, but
Ahmed, the
I knew you.
terrorist movie.
oh, okay, yeah.
I don't think you can say that.
So Windy City Heat is a made-for-TV reality film produced by Comedy Central. It's 92 minutes long. It was released in
short and
2003.
My favorite.
Oh man, it's good art. I think
It's
you're
good
really,
art.
I think it's good
It's
art.
good art.
Art. I think you're really gonna enjoy
Hey,
this.
commas are important.
movie.
In this case, they can both be used. It's good art. It's good, comma art.
Uh-huh.
That's good.
I'm ready.
Art, Chris.
I'm ready for it. the Windy City Devil with Jeff Dunham.
Jeff Dunham.